welcome in another episode. Sunday night, we're gonna start doing these. I guess Sunday and Thursday nights, but big episode tonight because we've got Michael Minner, head coach, Charleston Fighting Squirrels, and the Charleston Blue Jays on the phone. Obviously, Squirrels were the rivals of the Tropics for a long time. A lot of success there, so let's bring him in. All right, can you hear me, Minner?
I can.
Hey, so what's going on, man? How's you got rosters out, moving forward? Just how's life?
Life is good. Just finished up homecoming, so it's always good to get that out of the way. And now we're kind of focusing on 2025. Got the Squirrel dinner this weekend. Our big fundraiser kicks off the season, and then this year we've kind of added a new twist where we're starting a Hall of Fame. We're in year 21, so we're going to start to honor some kids that have been really influential in our program and had really, really good careers. So got some big things in store, and we're excited. Usually about October, it's time to start focusing on the next year. You've been away for a couple months, and so it's time to get back to baseball.
Yeah, man, and that's something you and I understand because we've done this. I don't think other people get how year-round summer baseball really is for guys like you and I back when I was doing the tropics.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I talked to Todd Pennington this weekend. They had my buddy Jeff Michael and his family run a wiffle ball tournament at Capitol Hall, raising money for less fortunate kids, and they do a good job of raising some money and buy kids gloves that can't afford them or basketball shoes. It's a really cool organization. But talked to Pennington up there, and we're trying to get some games on the schedule, and then I've reached out to all of our league people, and now that homecoming's over, and once we get this weekend out of the way, we're going to schedule a league meeting and try to get our league schedules going. So it's October, but the earlier and we do this stuff, so like I explained to our people, the earlier we can get stuff set and get things underway. Obviously baseball is extremely important to us. But at the same time, people have lives too. So we want to get that schedule out as early as we can. We want people to be able to plan their family vacations around our schedule. We want them to make sure that they know they're going to be here when it comes state, regional, World Series time. But we also want to give kids time to be away and be kids because, you don't want it to be a 7-day-a-week thing, and obviously now you and I know, we're new at being dads, and I really enjoy being around my kid, and I love my wife and want to be around her as much as I can. So I try to get that schedule out and really try to give everybody ample time to be at the ballpark, but also ample time to be a family and to be a kid. So but it's a year-round thing. It's never ever does it stop. So
No, and I imagine your wife's pretty happy you don't have to plan another World Series on top of everything else.
yeah, absolutely. She told me that she wouldn't be my wife anymore if I scheduled another World Series next year. So, anyways, we're currently still together. We are going to take on a regional.
Yeah.
Some of those things that we used to think were, like a huge undertaking, and they are. It takes some work, but after doing the World Series, and reaching out and making some of the connections that we've made, the regional, it'll fall into place, and it'll be awesome to be able to host something back at Hill House Park again.
Right.
Obviously we love being there. That's kind of what that's, number one, it's home, but we like the feel of it. I like to. I know that that's my press box, and I know where everything is, and I know, I got my golf cart. I can cruise around. I like to go around and mingle with people. As much as I loved being at Capitol Hall, it's just not, it's not that home field for me.
Right.
You do a lot of walking, and you're going around, and things are just set up different. It's not how your concession stand always is. It's not how your gate is, and people are just in different spots, and it makes it a little bit tougher to run. So it'll be nice to get back home and have the comfort of Hill House Park. Hosting a big tournament, and obviously, with the World Series being in Ocala, Florida, that would be an incredible trip for our kids or whoever plays the best that week. So we want to put on a good show and give some kids a great week of baseball, and then obviously the winning team, we want them to go and experience a great World Series in Florida.
Yeah, and we were lucky enough with the tropics. We went to 4 World Series, man. What you did in Cape was awesome, but you got to be excited to earn that chance to go travel again because traveling to Alabama when we flew out to Seattle for the World Series in Washington State, those experience you get those kids getting to do something like that's once in a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was cool. Like I've had a lot of bucket list items that I've wanted to do as a coach, and since I started, and a lot of things. Like when I first got into this, people were like, this isn't going to take off, and it kind of took off for us. And then they said, well, you can't do this, and we kind of did that. And then I remember people saying, we went to our first regional in Williston, North Dakota, and people were like, oh man, we could never do that. We just don't have it. And I was like, oh, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And and it kind of gets there, and people are like, man, you think you could pull off a World Series? I said, I'm going to pull off a World Series at some point, And so those are things, like I believe in our organization, and I love Senior Babe Ruth, and I love what it provides for kids. So, I wanted to be a part of, some regionals and World Series, and I think that's cool. But like you said, there's nothing better than getting on a plane with your team. Obviously, like kids, some kids haven't traveled. I remember going to Newark, Ohio, our first trip to the World Series, and I believe it was 2008. It might have been 6 or 7. I don't recall. Right off the top of my head, but we had a good crew of kids, and I think 11 of the 15 kids had never flown.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, you're taking a charter bus, and then you get on that. You get on that plane and you take a charter bus to the field and you pull in, and it's just those are memories that those kids will never have back. And the opening ceremonies, just being a part of something, bigger than you. And, it's a really neat experience. And like I said, and you and I have been the same. Like, I love Babe Ruth baseball. I love what it stands for. And, like in its time, every organization kind of, I mean, there's some changes. I mean, it's 2024. There's things that change, and obviously, Babe Ruth baseball used to be built on the host housing program.
Yep.
And we're kind of in an era right now where people, they don't want their kids staying with just somebody they don't know.
Right.
There's lots of question marks. And so like, I mean, like, things just kind of change, and ultimately too. Those are things that probably allowed us to host regionals, to host the World Series. It's tough to find people to house, 150 to 200 kids for a week and give it up. Like, there's people that have 15 and 16-year-old daughters that say, I'm just not into bringing in a bunch of 18-year-old guys. There's some people that don't get around as well. And, I mean, there's all kinds of question marks that have always been brought to my attention whenever you talked about doing the World Series or regional and needing to house all those teams. And so, like with times changing, it's allowed us to do some of those things. And so but Babe Ruth baseball is, at the national level, is as good a baseball as there is.
Right. And, you and I are lucky enough to have people around the program that have always helped us. I know you've got people around that helped you. I had people around who helped me, but, you know, it's awesome. Like when we took our guys to Washington, it's awesome. But from a coach, man, it was stressful as hell on me because I've got to get these kids on a plane. We got to figure out how to pay. We were in Washington, I think 11, 12 days. So we had to pay for hotel, rental vehicles. And we won regionals in Iowa that year. I mean, on the drive home, I'm already trying to figure out how in the world are we going to pay for all this?
Yeah, we've been extremely fortunate, both of our programs. But I specifically talk about mine. I've been extremely blessed to be in Charleston and have such a supportive group of people behind what we're trying to accomplish, and it's branched out in Southeast Missouri. And when teams, it's still one of the things that separates Babe Ruth baseball from a lot of organizations. I like we talk about it, and Coach Gravitt and I talked about it for quite a while. Like, it's still one of the organizations where it starts at a state level, and you have to win your way to the World Series.
Yeah.
There's people throw the word World Series around, and don't get me wrong. There's some organizations that have some incredible World Series. But you have to win that state tournament. You have to get to a regional, and no matter what's at the regional, you still have to win, and you get there. And then, to win the World Series, you've had to play really, really good baseball for about 5 weeks. And so that's, that's important. And I think that's one of the reasons that people get on board with that, like, and like I tell people, like, I'm not out, like right now, I'm out fundraising and we're trying to kick off, we're trying to fund our season,
Yeah.
and I never get ahead of myself. And I know you were the same way. Like, I'm not preparing to go to the World Series. Like, that will happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, you put a little. You always try to put away a little bit of money to have a head start in case something cool happens. But like, I'm not out asking people for big money to go to a World Series, and then you don't play well and you don't go to the World Series, and I don't want people saying, well, what'd you do with that money? Like, I mean, obviously, if somebody donates some money, like, we're not giving it back.
Yeah. Right.
So, but like, it's one of those things. Like, we have been extremely fortunate for people that want kids to go have that experience, and all of our kids, and that's one of the things that we're doing with the Hall of Fame. These guys, all of these guys that are our first class, have all been a part of World Series and regionals, and high levels of college baseball, professional baseball. I mean, like, so they know what it takes, and they've had a little taste, and like, those are guys that will speak highly about what our program does. But we just, at the end of the day, like, there's so many great people around here. Southeast Missouri baseball is as good as there is. Like, and you see that in the high school Final Fours. Like, we're always represented well, and sometimes you just get beat. But like, it's a really, really good brand of baseball. From small schools all the way to big schools.
Yeah. You got the Hall of Fame coming up. The one that I told you I would like to see get in, not that I get a vote or anything, was Willie P. And I'm glad he's getting recognized. The World Series MVP, everything he did coming up through your program too. That's pretty special to have a kid like that who starts with you guys. He wasn't a one and done type of kid. He came up and kind of. I always thought Willie like really represented what Babe Ruth, what Southeast Missouri was. He played hard. He's always yes sir, no sir. Just awesome kid. His brother's the same way.
Yeah, well, he represents what baseball is. Like, he's just a hard worker. He was a great teammate. And Willie's a kid, too. Obviously his older brother Wyatt, and they both coach. Now at Sykeston, and both played for me. Wyatt was on our older team, and Willie, he was on the younger team, and there was no complaints, and he played and he worked his way up. And then, 2017 was our first year, and he'll be the first to tell you he was one of our backups. He was a reserve. He got his at bats when it was time to get at bats, but when we go to the World Series, he wasn't in the starting lineup. And then just continues to work. And then, obviously we go in 2018, and he goes out, and he's our guy. He's our starting third baseman. He hits right in the middle of our order, and all year long he was one of our top arms. We mainly used him as a closing type guy. We didn't start him a lot, and then we find ourselves in the biggest game of our program's history, and you're kind of looking up and down the lineup, and you're just like, this is the guy. Like, if we're going to win this today, we're going to need a big time opportunity. This is a big time opportunity, but we're going to need this kid to have the game of his life. And we felt like he gave us the best chance that day to win, and he didn't disappoint. And so it's just kind of a culmination of everything that he did as a player at Sykeston and a player in our organization. He just continued to work. And then, like, and like, some people, like, like, you can overdo some things, but every time, when we have an alumni game, Porter, we always announce, 2018 MVP Willie P, like, and people, like, but you don't wear that out. Like, that doesn't ever get old, because that kid,
no, like Mason will always be the MVP to me.
Yeah. He deserved those accolades, and we won because we had a great team, but we also won because he had an MVP type day in a situation where we needed an MVP type day. So I'm really, really proud of the young man he's become, and he's one of those fun ones. You have some great kids that you always talk about, but he always was rocking a little bit of the mullet. He always, whenever everybody else had two buttons buttoned up, Willie P had three undone. He had those three chest hairs were hanging out, and he was just that good looking kid that was always smiling. He rubbed, his smile's infectious, and the way he carries himself rubs off on other people, and he was really, really a fun person to be around in our dugout.
Yeah, Willie's awesome. But, that kind of leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was, your roster for this year, who you're excited about, who's big names, returning guys. But, obviously I got to start with a kid who represented my organization well, who's now kind of switched over, and that's Aaron Dunlap.
Yeah, Dunlap, what a great kid. Obviously when we knew you guys were about done, Aaron, we kind of we talked a little bit and just kind of told him, said, hey, if this is something you're interested in, kind of let me know. And he expressed some interest, and he's going to be a great college player, and obviously we're happy to have him come back. I think he'll represent us very well. He fits in with the mold of what we're looking for to be a Squirrel. He's going to be a yes sir, no sir guy. He kind of smiles. He doesn't say much, and he's going to play extremely hard. So it's always nice to have a guy that's going to, that you think could come in and give you quality time in the outfield. Run down balls. It makes it a little bit easier to stick a left fielder out there whenever you got a center fielder who covers a lot more range. And obviously he's a top of the order type guy who does all the things and has the characteristics of a guy that I want in my lineup at the top. He's fast. He's going to steal bases. He's obviously a guy, if there's somebody on ahead of him, he's going to bunt. And he's a knowledgeable kid too. So, we know that he's going to put the ball where it needs to be to make sure and move guys up. And, he's one of those guys that when the game's on the line, he's definitely one of those guys that you'll want one in the box.
Yeah, and I'm excited for you to have him. I'm just excited he gets to keep playing. This is his third year in senior babe. He's been a part of a world championship, a third place, and hopefully with you guys he'll get the chance to play with another one. But anybody else returning guys, maybe anybody under the radar you want people to keep an eye out on either spring or next summer.
And we just I don't ever really talk about too many individual things. We go out and I'm going to call every college possible for any kid that wants to go play college baseball.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak highly of them. I'm going to tell, one of the things that you and I, I'm going to tell people exactly what they're getting.
Yeah.
I use animals all the time. If I call Mizzou and tell them I got a dog coming in, that kid shows up and he's a cat, then I'm never sending another kid to Mizzou because, they were expecting a dog. So I don't lie about things, but we try to put the emphasis on the team concept. I don't like people to hear too much out of my mouth about, guys that I'm thinking about playing or this and that. Like I want kids in our program, we're going to play a lot of double headers. Kids are going to get opportunities. To be a part of that starting lineup. They're going to get opportunities to be a part of that starting rotation or fit in where they fit in. And, so we obviously want every one of our kids to have great summers. We want them to be successful. And we've got some really, really talented kids. I think this is going to be a really, really fun summer. But we haven't really looked too much. We had some kids with incredible summers last year.
Yeah.
And they come back. We got some kids that are playing in college that come back. But overall, we're excited as an organization to be able to play another year and know that we have quality individuals. That's one of the big things for us. Is, bringing in kids that will represent us. I tell people, that obviously the 2018 group was a great group of kids, a great group of families. These 2 years that I've hosted the World Series, 2 years ago, might have been as much fun as I've ever had in the summer. Coaching just a group of individuals, and kids came together. That it was a family, and we had some great parents. At no point did anybody question playing time. Did they question, why a kid was doing I never heard any of that. And I was like, years like that they're amazing. And then last year, I think we topped it. We had kids that come in, we lost a few kids, we gained some kids, and not that we were, better kids or better families, but we had another amazing summer, and kids were emotional when the season was over. They know what Fighting Squirrel baseball means to me, our coaching staff, our community, and it's become something that means a lot to them. So that's one of those things, and I think we have a group that's going to give those two groups a run for their money and just that family atmosphere this year. And a lot of that has to do with, how our kids have grown up in our system. Like
Right.
we talk about that. We've got kids that have been here. I think 14 of our 18 kids have spent 3+ years in the Squirrel program, so they know the expectations. They know that I got a foul mouth. They know I'm going to say ignorant things. They know I'm going to stand up for them. They know I'm going to tell them I love them. And so at the end of the day, they know that they're all going to have an opportunity. Nobody can complain when it gets at the end, and we're going to play to win when it's time to play to win. And I think people respect that, and they know at the end that I'm genuinely playing the 9 best guys that I think are supposed to be out there.
Yeah.
And that's not a question. So like we don't bring in a ton of guys that are going to play over our guys. I mean, these guys have grown up being fighting squirrels, and now it's they each summer is a time for them to flourish and show why they should be in the starting lineup. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, you touched on the last 2 years, man. Last year, both of us wanted to be holding the trophy at the end, but the way it kind of ended for me, outside of getting to hold the trophy, getting one more game with you guys, having fun, we got to recognize some players. That was about as much fun as you can have. That kind of reminds you why you love baseball, man. Kind of getting to do what we did. Obviously, you guys had a heartbreaking loss. We had a heartbreaker. We had runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and we couldn't score. And I know you guys had a late comeback, or Washington had a late comeback, but man, what you did with the World Series that last game, it was fun.
Yeah,
Obviously, you
no,
want to win, but
it was a fitting end. Obviously we wanted to, after you lost, we're sitting there watching and we're up 4-1 with 1 out in the 7th. Obviously we're wanting a shot at the Raw Dogs.
yeah,
And me, after somebody who worked on it for a full year trying to prepare for it, I was wanting that gate money.
yeah, right.
For that night, I knew there was going to be a bunch of people there that hadn't been there all week, and it was going to be a really really big night for us. And then unfortunately, we just couldn't get the last out. And but then we kind of finished up in that third place game with you, and we both got to honor some kids that have been a big part of not only our programs, but Babe Ruth baseball.
Yeah.
There's Babe Ruth baseball was represented the past 3 or 4 years extremely well with kids, and they're still playing in college, and I know those kids whenever they're with their teammates and kids that did different things, they will speak highly of Babe Ruth baseball,
Yeah.
and they know that it was a good brand of baseball, and they're better people for being a part of it. So that's a cool way to end, but. And like I told you, we hate to lose you guys. I'm getting ready to put a wanted ad out, looking for a new rival.
Yeah.
I need somebody I gotta have somebody I want to talk about a little bit, and gotta have myself motivated. So I'm gonna be looking for that new person to try to beat, like I wanted to beat Dustin Schwartz.
Yeah, somebody finished second to you at the state tournament every
we've
year.
Had a couple of them. I remember the SEMO Pirates, and, and we don't really talk about, like, we kind of do what we do, but it's nice to have that rivalry.
Yeah.
It's become like we had really, really good crowds. We had people that were passionate about putting on, those ugly colors that you had. And then, our people were extremely passionate about, representing our colors.
Yeah,
So
those yellow pants you had.
we just, it's not easy to find that and find the camaraderie that we had between our two teams. So we'll be looking, and hopefully we'll find somebody who wants to represent a good rivalry.
Yeah, you'll find somebody. I mean, Perfectos will have a good team again. There's gonna be some people that are gonna kind of jump up, and there's gonna be good baseball in Southeast Missouri. I'm not worried about that.
For sure.
Kind of before I let you go, you got the 5 World Series guys. Halloween's right around the corner. Which one would you trust most taking Cal out trick or treating?
Of my Hall of Fame guys?
Yeah, of your 5 Hall of Fame guys, which one would you say?
6.
Oh, six. I'm sorry, man. 6 of them. Which one would you say? You can take Cal trick or treating. I trust you to get him back home and, not take the candy or leave him somewhere.
Hands down, Timmy Fox is the kid I'm going to send my kid with.
Yeah.
Or maybe Cole Nichols. I don't know. I'd say James Nail may get lost in the mix because everybody wants to talk to James.
Yeah.
Trey McDaniel, he might beat up one of the kids. Like Trey was a tough joker. Like he just carried that. Like he did everything full speed. Like we may not get much candy. We going door to door, 95 miles an hour. Ryan Fortner, I could possibly see Ryan Fortner. Maybe I might trust him a little bit. But Willie P, no way.
No.
Not Willie P, right now. Willie P is that good-looking young cat that's walking around like my kid would probably come home and say, Willie left with some girl.
Yeah.
So, but no, I trust all of those guys, man. What a great representation of our program. Those guys, I can't wait to see all of them and their families this weekend. They've made a big impact on my life. Baseball has been tremendous. And obviously I want my kid in the dugout with great kids like that. And,
Right.
I would send, I can say, over my years of coaching, I would probably send my kid out trick-or-treating with about 99% of them, because that's, and that's what baseball does. Baseball is different than all other sports. That dugout, when you're in that dugout, it's a pretty special place to be. And those kids that we have in our program are second to none. So, I think I trust about 99% of those kids.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to eat most of the candy too.
Well, see,
so.
and that's what I trust most of mine. But like a Trey Benthal, I wouldn't let my kid go out with him. Not because I don't trust Trey. It's just he's gonna drop him off and go chase some girl and take the candy with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Willie P. Like he might leave my kid sitting in the car, but I'll be right back, Cal.
Yeah.
No, those man, I tell you what, it's been fun, and so we're getting ready to kick off year 21, and I hope the next 20 are just as fun, and I'm super excited, to coach my kid too someday.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for him to be able to put on that Fighting Squirrel uniform and listen to other people holler at him. At that point, I'll probably just be sitting in the dugout and turning people loose to do the things that I did. So I'll probably be sitting there and just kind of enjoying watching some of those young guys play.
Well, man, thanks for coming on. Hopefully, we'll keep doing this over the summer, and I'll get to talk about some of your games. Obviously, I'm gonna come watch. I don't know if you can sell me on wearing Squirrel stuff just yet, but I'll be out there.
I don't know if I want you wearing Squirrel stuff yet. Now,
yeah. Also, at least the first few games, I'll be in trouble.
There's still a little bit of rivalry, and like I'm trying to sell. Like if somebody sees Schwartz in a Squirrel hat, like you might kill my mojo.
Yeah. Who knows?
But no, we'll see you Saturday night. Hope to see you. I think you and your wife are going to make it. We're going to honor some great people, and we got a great 90s country band, so it's going to be a big night to kick off 2025, and then ultimately we're super excited to see everybody at Hill House Park when spring ends and summer baseball kicks off.
And the event is in Charleston this year, right? Not Sykeston.
Correct. Yes, it's in Donnie DeLine's shop. It's one of those cool nights. It's out in the country. Big shop that has lots of space for us to cut a rug and honor people and take pictures. And we'll have Wayman Sims does a tremendous job. He's catering at Cotel. And Pepsi have provided drinks for us. It's just a big time deal and an opportunity for us to celebrate all the good things in our program and to show people, some of our younger people, that they have something to really, really look forward to by being a part of the Fighting Squirrel organization.
Will there be pull tabs again this year?
There will be lots of pull tabs.
All right.
I stapled last night. I stapled 700. At the homecoming dance, and we got lots of winners this year. We got some really, really cool stuff. Some good, and we've got some awesome all-inclusive Blues tickets. Got some really good Grizzlies tickets. Got some men's and women's packages. Got a custom baseball glove. we got some really, really cool stuff that's going to be there, and that you can win pool tabs or everything that we do is raffle. We don't really try to get people outbidding each other.
Right.
We just want people to come and have a good time. And, we pull some raffle winners and have some really cool stuff that people could walk away with. And at the end of the night, we hope that we make enough money to possibly pay for some tournaments, and hopefully we always try to make enough money to pay for all of our baseballs through the summer, which for people that don't know, like we will go through probably somewhere in the range of $500 to $8,500 worth of baseballs this summer. So
sure.
That's a big night for us. If we could knock down $8,500 and know that all of our baseballs are taken care of, that would be a really good night for us. And then at some point, I'm probably going to sing Reno. So, people, they don't want to miss that.
No, I told you, I think 20 minutes, we're coming up on half an hour. But, man, thanks so much for coming on. Like I said, I can't wait to keep up with you over the summer, talk about some of your games and highlights, stuff like that. But, Menor, thanks. It's always good talking to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. And I actually do have you a squirrel hat. So,
yeah,
it's got your colors on it.
All right.
But it's a squirrel.
All
it's
right.
a squirrel. So you'll look good in it.
I can't wait to see it.
I need you to work on that mustache, though.
Yeah, I've been working since I was 15 on the mustache.
If you're going to be a judge, I need you to sit up there with one of those stellar mustaches.
It's coming. Don't worry.
The gavel with the stash.
It'll be there. Don't worry. All right, man.
Sounds good, brother.
I'll talk to you later, Menor. See you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Michael Menor, the big head squirrel. Biggest takeaway from that I want people to know is, he talked about getting colleges and being on the phone. As a summer coach, you try so hard to build up a relationship with colleges. And it took me a couple of years. I know it took Menor a couple of years to where, if I've got a few colleges, I call them, they're going to pick up the phone. Or if I go to one of their games, they let me chill in the dugout and talk to them, some of their guys. It takes a long time to build that relationship. It takes a lot of trust to build that relationship. Menor said it best. I use the same analogy with my guys. If I tell a school, I'm sending you a dog, and I send them a cat, they will never take a dog from me again. I use that over and over again with my guys. If I tell someplace they're getting a dog, you better be a dog, because I'm not telling them otherwise, or I'm not going to lie for you. It breaks my heart, but there was a few times I had to tell kids, who wanted to go to certain schools, you're not good enough to go there. You're going to go there. You're probably not going to make the team. If you do make the team, you'll never get to see the field. There are other options that are going to help you play while still working towards a college degree. But first time you betray that trust, they're never going to trust you again. It takes a long time to build that trust. You can't let it go, because ultimately you're hurting the next kid. You may have a dog next time who really is a dog, but they're not going to take it from you. Anyways, great job by Michael Menor as always. Pretty decent Sunday for me. I have been destroying all of my bets today, crushing. The only game I have missed so far on, I don't know why the hell I keep doing it to myself. I took money line on San Francisco versus Kansas City. I got hosed again, but other than that, I think I'm like 6 for 7. 6 for 6 outside of that one. Jets are going on right now. I've got them -2. They're up by 4. Pretty good weekend for me. Next up on the show, Tyler Trover, head coach down at Portageville. Obviously going to have a lot to talk to him about. Guys like Bo Hunter Warren, Trey Benthal, Mason Adams, Aaron Dunlap, some of my former guys who are doing great at the college level that are Portageville products. Can't wait to talk to him. Obviously, I know how the guys are doing. He knows how they're doing. Ready to see what his plans are for the offseason to build up for a big year for him, because, he lost a lot of guys. Portageville's got a lot of good ones up, though. They've got a great pipeline. Can't wait to talk to him about what his expectations are and how they move on from losing guys like Mason, Bobo, Benthal 2 years ago, Aaron. It's going to be fun. Man, I swear these things keep getting more and more fun. But Jovi's getting restless. It's time for his bottle and bedtime. Everybody, thank you so much. Until we meet again.